Hello from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. I am Laura, and this is
Prud's Ice Cream Shop.
Prud's Ice Cream Shop. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Different flavors of ice cream.
Ooh, you have mixy-matchy candy craving colors. Can I have a Lollapalooza in a big red bowl?
No, I don't have any of those flavors.
Lollapalooza means a lot of flavors.
Oh. Lot of flavors. A cone or a bowl?
Oh, a cone's fine, but make it a small one.
Yeah.
Yummy, yummy. Thank you, thank
But
you.
it has to be in one of these.
Oh, I do love a bowl cup.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's swirly pearly. Yum, yum, yum. Ooh, minty strawberry. Yum, 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 yum. Thank you. What a great ice cream shop. Say, what do you say?
Look with your heart first, and thank you and bye for my ice cream shop. Bye-bye.
Sadie, that's enough. It's just a ball. Good morning, people. Was that a little bit of fun for your day? All right, we are going now.
Can I call Grandma?
Yes, you can call Grandma. Are you kidding? You can FaceTime Grandma any darn time you want. Just about. Unless it's the end of the day when you're really crabby, because she gets crabby at the end of the day. We do our little morning music every day. You can think it's crazy or not, but we pick some little music. We all pray, meditate, do a little something. Me and the kids, that is. And it's happy times. Are we done? We're almost done. I'll just pause it. Because you're more important. Because right now I have the energy and a little bit of quiet. I am Laura from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. This is a knitting, crochet, sock cranking, loom knitting podcast. I am Yarn Closet AZ on Instagram, the Yarn Closet blog over on Patreon. Oh my gosh, she just woke Grandma up. Oh, because it's probably not very late because Dad woke us all up ridiculously early this morning. And then the neighborhood, he decided to take his Polaris out into the desert and drive around early. I mean, he was gone by 5:45. And we all have to do what we have to do to feel decent these days. What are you doing to feel decent? I mean, have you found something? Because yesterday, early morning, I'm telling you, I was ready to just bawl for an hour. But it was the last day of school. My son has worked ahead. He's been homeschooling online with Liberty University Online Academy. It is from kindergarten through 12th grade. They have a dual enrollment program in high school. So if you're a smarty pants and you want to enroll in classes that get you college credit also, you can do that. You could actually graduate high school with an AA degree. And of course, all of your stuff, you just get into Liberty University College pretty darn easily if you come from the online program. And I'm guessing by the time he graduates from high school, there's not going to be any issue anymore with coming from a homeschooling environment going into college. Whereas some people have had problems. Yeah, I think we're going to be over that one, don't you? Should I start wearing like an eye patch? Would that make it easier? That might, oh, look at that. Wouldn't that might make it easier. Someone knit me or crochet, no, I'm trying to say sew. Someone sew me a nice eye patch that I could wear. Actually, I think there are these eye patches that you can stick right inside your glasses. Although with my glasses on, it's not as bad. But I don't like my hair as much. That was pointless rambling. But what are you doing? Just knock it off. That's Magnus. Can you see him? Can you see him? He's on the brown couch in our little snug. That's the area that's supposed to technically be our dining room. But we didn't need that. We've got a table in our kitchen. And that works really well for us. So it's like having a cozy little corner off of our living room, which now also has a table in it for homeschooling and art and stuff, doing Legos. I mean, I've really enjoyed having a table in our living room, as ridiculous as it may sound. And I've enjoyed setting up a corner in the living room that's got my knitting table and a bookshelf full of some of my knitting stuff. No, Magnus, no. No. Maybe he'll stop. Hi. Do you want to say hi to the people? Say hello. Say hi, I'm the baby who talks. Yeah. You've already been outside 16 times today. You don't need it again. You don't. But apparently he would like to go outside again. So, you know, talk amongst yourselves for a moment. No, I'm not going to edit this out. I mean, get over it, people. All right. What do you want? 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 See, thanks. Stop talking. Don't move, Chip. Don't move. Okay, so they got the thing in the treat bag that smells stinky. I was trying not to say that word. But yeah, this is a knitting podcast. There's a blog on Patreon, TheYarnCloset. And you know, you can follow people for free on Patreon. I do a lot of free downloads for patterns, or I did. Life's been crazy. I hope to get back to that at some point this summer when we hit kind of a, you know, a routine. So like I said, my son finished 2 weeks early from school yesterday, which is the bonus to Liberty University's online program. You can be very flexible with your time. And stop! We have neighbors. Everybody's out walking these days. Just knock it off. The really manly bark is actually Sadie the poodle. Sadie, stop that. Sadie, stop that. If she's not actually being a guide dog, she doesn't listen. So, I still would like to find one of these that's more flat-chested. But I have this one, so, you know, we just make it work. And it did actually function well before my surgery that's now a year old. Technically, the last surgery I had was the middle of May, but I'm pretty much a year out, and I feel really good. The reason I did the surgery, I had 20-year-old implants removed, there were 3 little spots. They couldn't really tell because apparently I have dense tissue. Excuse me. I don't know what that means because guess what? There's like almost no tissue now. So what was dense was actually maybe the implant or the scar tissue around the implant. I don't know. But they removed them. They removed 4 little, and I'm talking little, like lima bean size, pea-sized. I don't want to say tumors because tumors are bigger. Polyps, they call them, maybe. And I'm good. I'm good. It's shocking, this whole thing about breast implant illness. I buy it because I felt so much clearer headed within, from waking up from that surgery. And my daily rashes, by the end of the day, I mean, I was like breaking out everywhere. They're gone. They were gone very quickly. My all over body inflammation, gone. I would say about 60% of my aches and pains, gone. My headaches down by at least 50%. My stomach problems, gone. Now, all of that didn't go just like that. It took months. But isn't that crazy? And that's because even though I had saline implants, they're in silicone, okay? And that leaches into your body. Your body then builds scar tissue around it. Getting pregnant while you have them can break that scar tissue and let some of that silicone into your body. Silicone is a hormone disruptor. Okay, the other thing that happens is implants sit on your rib cage. Because I have very little tissue left, I can actually feel my rib cage and I can feel that perfect indent where those implants were sitting for 20 years. My ribs were rubbed away. Friction rubbed them away over time. I don't know anyone. I mean, it's freaky. When you feel it, it's freaky. And mine weren't that big, people. Nobody ever thought that I had them. They just weren't that big. So if you know people and they have all kinds of weird stuff and they have fatigue like you wouldn't believe and get constantly sick, talk to them about it. Have them look up breast implant illness, breast implanted associated lymphomas. And I know elective surgery isn't happening right now. Some of them aren't elective if they feel that they have the lymphoma, but because we couldn't do the tests to find out if my little lima beans and peas were the lymphoma, and only one of them was. Because of where they were located, I ended up having to pay out of pocket to have mine done. And thank God I did, because I am so much healthier today with everything that's going on in the world. And physically, people don't necessarily notice that I look all that different, which tells the young women of the world that boobs are not that important. They're just not. Okay, that was my 2-minute message there. So what have we been doing in the knitting world? In the knitting world, our families had some other things going on, and so we're all spending a little extra time on the phone and communicating and whatnot. But it's because we're getting all of our stuff delivered. It's shocking to me how between 2 different grocery store deliveries, I still can't get toilet paper or paper towels. I still can't get unscented baby wipes. So our grocery bills have gone up significantly. What are you going to do? I mean, at least our gas bill for going out and about and our eating out bill has gone way down, so I'm thinking it kind of averages. But that's why I was not really going out of my way to like buy anything. I have plenty of stash, even if we're here for 2 years, that I could use and work through. I'm pretty darn sure. But I recently made some socks and found out that certain types of socks you have to use DPNs either to start more effectively, whatever. So I've got some DPNs. I had some DPNs, but I got a couple of these DPN cases. I don't sew. I don't have a sewing machine. It wasn't that expensive. It was supporting a maker. Go to Etsy. You can find all different kinds. These with the 3 snaps allow it to be for the shorter DPNs because I've got these 4-inchers. So if you look, and I've also got some longer 7. And now the trick here is, if this is actually attached to what you're working on, you can kind of fold your DPNs flat, put them in here and snap them, and then they won't come out of your knitting. So I'm just keeping some of my DPNs in the sizes that I believe I'll be using. You don't want to see what Chip is doing with his little stuffed animal friend. Can you hear the noise? Did you hear the noise? In those, because what I have done is I made a heel flap and gusset. This is some opal that I had. Now, I just hand washed and put these in the dryer for maybe 5 minutes on low. I did a type of umbrella heel. Kay from the Bakery Bears has a really good umbrella heel that she's come up with. This one gives that same kind of swirl that you get if you make a hat. But honestly, it feels quite nice. But I did a heel flap and a gusset. And I liked it. I mean, I liked knitting it. It knitted up really fast, and I like shorty socks. These aren't the softest, but here's the deal, people. I have such an issue with wear that maybe this just is the best for me. Maybe I have to get used to it. So that was a pattern that came out of, well, actually, they both came out of the same book. Let me grab that. I forgot that. What's going on with my hair today? I know people have an issue sometimes with Cascade Yarns. This is a book put out by Cascade Yarns. It is 60 Quick Knits for Beginners. I am not a big person that has a bunch of knitting books. But this one, I like the font size and the spacing on the page, so it's easy to use with some of my magnifiers. I really do like the patterns. They were thoughtfully put together to teach you different types of knitting things in a way that's not overwhelming. Like these have just a slit for your thumb. They're fingerless gloves, but they use the slip stitch. If you want to learn how to do slip stitch and get that little slip stitch detail. There's other fingerless gloves in here that have just a slit for your thumb. So most of them are knit flat and seamed, but you could also knit them in the round. but with like one cable. So it's not an overwhelming project, and you can figure out how to do this cable. Figuring out how to do stripes, color changes. Lots of different things, and they really did a good deal. So I do, and I found it on Amazon. I found it at my library first, and then I went and bought it off Amazon. It wasn't that expensive. I really do like it. I have made a few things out of it. So I do recommend it. Now, Libby is an app that you can download on iPhones and Androids, and it is from the library systems. Our library, if you didn't have a card, or like me, found out that your card had become inactive because I hadn't used it in so many months. I mean, I was volunteering at a library, so I didn't need my local one. They have a thing during COVID where you just go in, you do your little thing, and you can get on their library system. So I've been listening to free audiobooks, been looking at free downloadable books, and I think it's worth looking into. Libby, it's an app for libraries, and look and see if your local library allows you to get on, even if you don't have a card or didn't have a card before COVID. Now, what I will say is, this was obviously not the toe in the pattern. It was a regular wedge toe. I've done that so much, I knew how to do that I just looked on one of my free Ravelry patterns, because this was something in my my 9 patterns to do this year. I wanted to figure out some ways to do socks or slipper socks that wasn't using afterthought heels. They had another pattern in there where you started out with 4 stitches on DPNs, and then you double. Tried that a couple times. I was really challenged, so I used 2 DPNs as in a similar fashion to like Magic Loop, and then once it got big enough, I just switched to Magic Loop. So you knit in the round, and this is a free pattern in a lot of free patterns on Ravelry also. And then you knit back and forth, and you seam here, but instead of seaming, I just did some decreases here and then also decreases on the end, so I get an interesting little fit at my heel, because that was actually in a free pattern on Ravelry that I had downloaded. Woo! Lost you, people. Okay. All right, let's try this again. See? I wouldn't do this decrease at the end. If I did it again, I would just decrease in the middle to make a more curved heel, because otherwise it was just a very square heel. And this is my sock tube slipper sock. I've made a few of these. You just fold the tube in half, you sew or crochet down the middle, you gather the ends, sew or crochet down here. I go back and forth a few times here, and see the gathered. Once I do it, I put them inside out, and it looks a little bit better. But what I have found, here is my sock bin. I already had a pair that I had worn through. And this is not all the area that's worn through, but some of it that's thin. So I just went through and caught the loops, sewed through both layers, and just sewed. Because I took a mending class, and realistically, I didn't care what it looked like. It's on the bottom. I'm just trying to see. You can see right there. I probably should have done more here to extend the life of this pair. I've also learned that I don't think I can dry my socks or slipper socks anymore. I think that that's maybe part of the issue. So I'm washing them by hand and putting them out on my laundry line. Because I have this pair, I have the purple pair that I'm wearing. Let's go through what my sock bin looks like. I have these. I'm not making a second one of either one of these, people. First of all, I'm always at home. My neighbors know I dress weird when I'm at home. Secondly, we're in quarantine. Who's going to see us? I have this single sock. The other one blew out. I have this pair of socks that's going to blow out, and they have no heels. This is the first sock I ever knit, and this is a Yowza. The other one blew a hole in it. These were some sock tubes, some sock machine knit with Lycra socks, and that didn't even help. The other one still blew a hole out. I've come to believe that I have one foot that has a worse bunion than the other. So I believe I've got a bigger callus underneath that big toe, and therefore that's why one of my socks is blowing out and usually not both in the pair. So, so there's a mismatch of stuff. And well, two mismatched, that could be a pair. Here's a pair, 6 different singles makes 3 pairs. I'm going to try, I believe, to make this style with 2 strands of opal held together. Because I think the key is to use a harder wearing sock yarn and maybe double it up. And this is a patent that doesn't really work on my sock machine. So I'm going to try that one of these days. So I think I am down to, I wanted to do another shawl for myself. Try to find a single skein shawl pattern that can be a lighter weight, thinner, longer shawl. Hey, can we be a little bit quiet? I'm podcasting. Prue, I'm podcasting! So I still want to do that. I want to do a dog sweater. So that's 2. There were 9. Let's see if I've got the rest of them. Sweater, t-shirt sweater. Coffee cup cozy, did that. A hat donna. So it's like a cowl. Prudence, just be nice. With a point, did that. Did the socks. Okay. Dude, I don't know. And I'm using my phone. Here, let's see if this will work. Ooh. Let's find the picture. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the things that I have not done are a scrappy project, a single skein shawl, a 3/4 sleeve heavier sweater, something that is more airy and light, like the ranunculus and the dog sweater. So I still have 5 things off my 9. And we're almost to June, so I think I'm doing pretty good. The problem is that scrap project is probably going to take a while. But I've got a lot of scraps that are bugging me, so I need to get on that. And this 3/4 sweater, turns out it's a cardigan, but that I think is almost done. Almost done. I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Let me show you. Remember, this is with that Mrs. Crosby's yarn. I got it off Craftsy a long time ago. Now it's Blueprint. It's called Squid Ink. It's a DK. And see how there's those different colors in it? It's gray. So I'm basically doing, and this is going to be a 3/4 or kind of a bracelet length sleeve. And it's going to be longer even than this one, which to date is my longest. I think to date this is my longest sweater. I'm doing just garter stitch around the cuffs and the neck and the button band. There won't be buttons. I think I'm going to do a frog closure, just one. Sadie, stop it. Now, here's the bummer. People, I lost some stitches. I went back to fix them. Honest to God, I fixed them like 6 times. This is the best I could do. I don't care. I won't be able to see it, so I don't care if anybody else does. But I'm making headway. I'm now about 7 inches, 6 or 7 inches underneath the split for the arms, and I'm going to try to make this like 15 inches long, since it is a cardigan. And I mean, this is the fabric before blocking. Once I block this is going to be kind of lightweight, kind of airy, kind of see-through-y. You know, because I do live in Tucson, but I think I'll get a decent amount of wear out of it. This winter was really long and I loved it. I wished I would have had a bunch of hand knit sweaters to wear this winter, but I didn't. So next season, I'm hoping it's also a sweater season. Here is the finished. Mom, I just have to have a pink fingerless glove. And then she tries it on and doesn't like it. So I will eventually make the second one and just put it in the gift bin, you know, for some donation someday. I took out this DK one skein shawl and just started another top-down raglan. And I had done a gauge swatch, but I'm still not sure. This gauge is not coming out anywhere near the swatch. And honestly, I think that's because my swatch was more back and forth versus in the round. Because even when you do that flat swatch where you've got the strings in the back, it's still more like knitting flat. So I don't know if I really am loving what's going to end up being the gauge on this. I'm going to knit it a little bit further and just see. I mean, I think the color is going to be absolutely crazy. Make me look like a Tiger Queen. But that has pretty much been where the knitting has been at. I'm going to try to be monogamous and finish this. I made a bunch of things for school, dishcloths. I owe a neighbor lady friend some sock tube fingerless gloves. 3 pairs by like October so she can mail them out to other countries. So I'm just going to try to get those done sooner versus later, like in the next few weeks. Because it might be easier for her to ship them in summer. I don't know. I've not been keeping up with what countries are really limiting shipping. Oh, they are just singing crazy in the background all the time. I'm just trying to stay positive and not let the start and the not wanting to finish and everything bug me. There were a few socks that blew out that I was going to undo the yarn and use that for scrap yarn or whatever. But it was already so semi-felted that I thought, no. And it's okay to put it in my bin. I have a collection bin that I use to stuff things. Like I make pillows and I stuff it with yarn. What does your house sound like? And are you at 98 degrees? Because we went from lovely, lovely weather to bam, we're pushing that 100 mark. Within a couple weeks, we're just going to be in the hundreds. It drives me nuts. I am not a hot weather person. Prue, please stop. Oh, I found this Bellish, like Embellish app. It's free. And what it does is allows you to pick some very basic sizes and shapes, like full or cropped. You can do body and sleeve patterns, color work. You can pick your type of yarn, fingering DK or worsted. Then you choose your size, you choose your color, and no, go back to that. No. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay, and so you enter all your stuff in, and then it gives you the pattern. I mean, it gives you the pattern. So the thing I don't like about it is there's not a lot of options, and you can't adjust your gauge that you get. What I would like is one of those that you can put in the gauge you're actually getting with the yarn you want to use and have it do all the calculations for you. I'm sure there are those ones for pay, but I just like a free resource, don't we all right now? I mean, I'm going to be getting flat foldable paper towels from Amazon like you would get in the bathroom. Because somehow I don't think my family can live without them. And yeah, that's Magnus. I just ignore him. And we're also getting refillable water with the tap containers because we can't get bottled water with our deliveries. So we do have water stations here in Tucson because a number of areas, well, let me put it this way. Our tap water is reclaimed. That means our sewer water is reclaimed and cleaned. That's why most people take their tap water and filter it before they use it. We've got a filter pitcher that sits on our counter. But we're going to get those containers because then my husband can drive over there with the kids, and it's $1.25 to fill up a gallon. So it's, 75 cents a container, and you get a few containers. It's just something to do. It's something to do because he's the one getting the most stir crazy. The kids have already adapted to FaceTime. We just had my daughter's 5th birthday with FaceTime. I had thought back in January, oh, hey, let's get some actor friends we know to dress up like Elsa and sing a birthday song to her, an Elsa song to her. Well, thank God I had that thought because now she's got it and she can just play it over and over and over again. So we did FaceTime birthday for her, and that was fine. She was thrilled. And, the kids are just okay with it. They're just kind of used to it. It's my husband that's having the hardest time. And then it's my husband that's the most susceptible to, if you are out and about and get it, you're not going to make it through. Pulmonary fibrosis and bullous emphysema is what he has, and he's had it now for 3 years. So, and he's a carbon monoxide. He's a CO2 retainer, so his rib cage has actually started to, how your rib cage kind of does this? His rib cage has started to do this. Quite a bit, actually. Quite a bit. I think I might be causing him pain when I hug him. So that's tough. And I do feel for the men of the world who are getting stir crazy and going extra crazy being home with the kids. I get that. We all are. But remember, men, you are our protectors. You are going to stand in the way of that bullet, and this bullet is just a different kind. I hope that you're all finding a way to let this stress go every once in a while. I know it's hard. I know it comes back. But we just need to know that we're all here for each other and to support the friends who've already been touched and hit by this. I do know a number of people. So in my circle, no one directly related to me, but friends who've had people, or friends of friends who've had people, or people I talk with on Instagram and stuff who've had people. So our prayers are with you, and we will look with our heart first until we talk again.